So, anybody that is subscribed to this channel has two questions. One, is this guy still alive? Two, why am I still subscribed? The first question I have an answer to. Yes, I am still alive. January 2020. That's when I'm recording this video. So maybe 4 years from now I might not be alive. But anyway, that's beside the point. Right now I'm alive, yes. And I'm making a video. Second point, I have no idea why you should still subscribe. There's that's up to you. You get to decide. This channel is changing. I am not going to be doing tutorials anymore. I don't really have tutorial content, but I have other content that I would like to share. There are things you can see on my desk that I could potentially talk about. I could talk about the V67G. I could talk about the AKM320. I could talk about the Roland TR08. I also have a Behringer RD8 over there, that direction that you can't see because I'm pointing with my other hand. Anyway, I could do reviews of all this stuff. I could do reviews of the JBLs. So that's kind of what I think I'm going to be doing. Which brings us to today. Headphones. These are all the headphones I've owned that are of any relevance. I have actually 2 headphones that I've used in the past. I mean, you could argue 4 maybe that are all earbuds that I might mention, but this is already going to take a half hour to do, only because there's so many headphones and so much to say about every single headphone. I think the first thing I'm going to point out as part of this roundup is this is not telling you which one of these to buy, but if it was, it'd be these. But that's beside the point. The key thing right now is to talk about who should buy which headphone. Every single headphone, I will tell one person that should buy it. Okay? That is how this goes. Every single headphone has somebody that should buy it. Yeah, that's just kind of what it boils down to. So, starting from the most expensive to least expensive, these are the V-Moda Crossfade Wireless 2s. They're portable. They have bass. They have a pretty good amount of bass. And they have a detachable cable. They have... what else? And they're closed back. Oh, they have good noise isolation. And that's it. Those are the only pros of these headphones. I think they're $200. And they sound like $80 headphones. Okay, actually that's kind of a lie. $80 headphones often sound better than this. These sound really bad. I said they have good bass. The mids are recessed, and the treble is boosted and harsh. It is not boosted and clear. I like boosted clear treble. I will talk about that later. But I don't like harsh treble. These have harsh treble, not a lot of mids. Harsh treble is okay if you have good mids. I mean, it's not the best, but it's okay. The mids are recessed though, so you basically just hear bass and harsh treble. And these are extremely uncomfortable. It makes me so angry because these could be extremely comfortable. Everything about these could be good comfort except for the fact that the inside of these pads are just too small. Now, if you have teeny tiny little baby ears that can fit inside this hole, then you're going to have a good experience with these. I do not have teeny tiny baby ears. I have maybe a little bit above average sized ears. And they don't fit. So the pads that these come with originally are smaller than these, but they are a bit nicer quality. These are slightly less good quality. They're still comfortable-ish. Keep the ish in there. But they're bigger. So that's why I got the bigger pads, mainly because my ears didn't fit and they were being smushed. So these could be really comfortable if... excuse me, haven't done a video in a while. If these had just bigger ear holes. I don't recommend these to a lot of people. I think these are way too expensive for what they are. Sure, they have Bluetooth, but to me that is no value. I always prefer a cable, just because Bluetooth connections, finicky, pain in the butt, whatever, and you have to recharge them. But if you are a DJ and you need harsh treble and a lot of bass so that you can mix tracks, maybe these make sense. I'm not a DJ. I've never been a DJ. I have given suggestions about DJing regarding what I've heard online. but I don't DJ, so I don't know. Generally speaking, I would avoid these. They are kind of nice and portable, though. I wish I could love these, but I really can't. They just sound really mediocre, and yeah, the comfort doesn't work for me. That's a key thing. I can't wear these for more than a couple hours without my ears physically hurting. So that was what, 5 minutes for one pair of headphones? Wow, we're in for a long ride here. Sennheiser 58X Jubilees. I can keep these ones shorter because I have less problems with them. I like the sound signature. They have good amount of bass. The bass sounds nice. It doesn't feel like it goes super deep and is super overpowering, which some people like that really heavy bass hit on their headphones. These have a nice bump. Like if you get a kick drum, it goes boom. It doesn't go boom. These kind of do the boo thing. So if you like that, you might like those better. But these feel much more balanced. Now, I would prefer a little bit more treble on these, only because they don't sound super like sheeny clear. I like that nice like air to headphones. That I really enjoy. These don't have that, so I kind of miss that on these. But generally speaking, these are really good. And for $150, I have no qualms recommending them. Comfort matters to me, and I'm going to mention on everything because it's actually, functionally, it's a deal breaker. I don't care if something sounds like it's amazing. If it hurts my ears to use, it really puts a damper on my experience. Now, there are times where I will use those headphones for a short period because I need good quality, but comfort is kind of a key thing for me. So these, comfort is pretty good. The only issue I find is that these pads take a little bit of force to squish. And that sounds like a stupid nitpick, except for what it causes is these have a lot of clamp. So it's kind of like shoving these rings around your ears, and it feels really weird. It feels like there's a cup going on the side of your head. It doesn't feel like this nice, soft pair of headphones that you're putting on. I do like the detachable cable. Props for a detachable cable. These have a detachable cable. That's one good thing. I like detachable cables. But yeah, just generally speaking, $150, worth $150. If you get them for less, great. That's awesome. I would recommend these. And I would say, generally speaking, a lot of people would love these. So it's a really easy general recommendation. The one thing they're not good at sonically is soundstage and imaging. Now, I didn't even mention soundstage and imaging on these because it's just none. You don't have any. You don't get any. You have to pay for better headphones if you want soundstage and imaging. These have decent soundstage, very poor imaging. So you feel like you're in a space of sound, but if you were to say, I want to point out a particular instrument and use that, like listen to that in space, or if I want to mix so I could hear, like, what if I put the guitar like acoustically over here and the piano acoustically over here? Like, you can't really do that super well with these. But the sound signature generally is really good, so it kind of makes up for it. It's a little bit tough to make a call on these ones. But $150, I would say 100% they're worth it. There might be better options for you. Keep on listening. DT770s. So these are good in a lot of ways. They're really comfortable. Not the most comfortable headphones I've worn. These are actually, I gave these to my sister because they're just really good to just hand to somebody and say, enjoy these. But I think the one problem is these pads are not super deep as much as I'd want them to be. Actually, it's not that they're deep. It's just like a lot of the headphones that I have like the drivers kind of angled so it's out of the way of your ear, and it fires directly into your ear, and that really helps for a lot of things, as I will get to a little bit later. But yeah, these are comfortable. Not the most comfortable, but still very comfortable. The adjustment mechanism is trash on these. It does not stay very well, but that's kind of minor nitpicks. No detachable cable. This is a problem because I have had a pair of these and the cable died. Fortunately, it was within the warranty period, so I was able to get a replacement. But if the cable dies on this, I'm going to have to rip the cable out, and I'm going to have to put in a detachable cable mod. which is what I have done with these headphones, and I will talk about those in a minute. Sound signature, a lot of bass. The bass is clear. I don't have problems with the bass. The bass is fine. I don't know if I'd say it's my preference, because I tend to not like emphasize bass. Now, if I was listening to something like I wanted it to be super like all that sub bass just come and like really feel it on my head, these would be the headphones for that. Now, the problem, like the mids are pretty good as well. Actually, they're a little bit recessed, but not a ton. The high end's fuckety. Like, that's the word for it. It's fuckety. And I mean, like, this is like 5K up. It's not harsh. It just feels like the sound signature went and you're like, what happened? They sound good up until that frequency spectrum, and then it just sounds like kind of weird. It sounds like somebody got an EQ. You know, like when you hand an EQ to a producer that's only been like producing for like 3 months, and you're like, EQ, so I'm like, sure, and they just start scooping out frequencies and like building a big pile over here. That's what it sounds like. That's what the high end of these sound like. It doesn't sound natural. Like, that's the key thing. It does not sound natural. It doesn't sound as painfully harsh as these, but it is definitely beaten by these in terms of like how nice the frequency response is across like the spectrum. Soundstage and imaging, these don't have great soundstage or imaging. Mostly just if you want, like, these are pretty good bass cannons is kind of what it ends up being, and they're okay in enough areas, and the comfort is good enough to where I would be okay recommending them. I personally would not spend $150 on these. I would spend like less, only because I know there's better options, but these are technically a solid option. I would never recommend these to somebody as a first pick though. But like I said, if you want bass cannons, these are the only headphones that I own that are decent bass cannons. Everything else is either a bad bass cannon or doesn't have a lot of bass. But that's because I tend to not like a lot of bass. These are the AD700Xs. I love these. Not a lot of people will. And the reason I love these is, number one, they're comfortable. They're really comfortable. I have no idea why. I think it's because these pads are just like so soft, and they're not super thick, but they're like extremely soft, and the driver on the inside is angled slightly. I'm not sure how easy it is to see, but yeah, there you go. So you can see it right there. It's angled, and what that does is it moves out of the way of your ear, so you have more space for your ear to go in. I hate this top strap mechanism. I just put like a twisty tie between the two parts so it actually feels like a normal headband, because otherwise it kind of sags down your head. So easy mod. Just put a twisty tie there. Problem is, did not have a detachable cable. Cable on mine died. So what I did was I modded it and put a little TRS jack on there, so now I could just use any cable I want on these, which made these amazing headphones. Sound signature. Anybody who knows anything about these headphones knows what I'm about to say. The bass on these is not boosted. Like the other two headphones that we talked about here, this one and the V-Modas, these ones do not have boosted bass. So you get a nice punch, you get some sub bass, but most of it's pretty laid back. The mids are very clear. They don't feel super recessed. I think what happens is the mids feel like they're dominated by something else, and that's the treble. The treble on these is very, 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 very boosted, but it's insanely clear. These are the clearest treble headphones I have ever used, and it's like, if you like, I don't want to say crispy treble because it's not harsh, but it's a little bit harsh because it's so boosted. It's super boosted, but you get clarity out of it. So it's like, for gaming, these are amazing. I absolutely love these for gaming. I could wear them all day for gaming. That's like the comfort thing is like, those are good. And the soundstage and imaging you get out of these is superb as well. And so I just generally speaking, like, they're really good for if you want to like pick out instruments in space, or if you're playing FPS knowing directionally where sounds are coming from. These, I love it. I would pay $150 for these. some people would not, only because the bass is very laid back. It's not like a super flashy bass. But I love these, and I love them even more now that it has a detachable cable, because that means I could choose the length of my cable and everything else. So yeah, these I would recommend to basically gamers and anybody who loves like really loud and clear treble. Because these I think what you could do is you could EQ these. So like in Windows you could do equalizer APO and then just bring the highs down a little bit, and you should keep all the clarity, but it won't be quite as boosted. That's an option. I just like them as is. They're just so good for gaming, and I love the clarity you get out of them. Those are so good. Now these I love so much. These are my new daily drivers. I said I was I think I said I was replacing my V-Moda Crossfade 2s. It's with these. I love these. God, why am I talking so weird? Yeah, so adjustment mechanism. It's a little bit loose, but it's one of the better ones. Definitely better than a lot of the options. It's pretty easy to adjust, which I do appreciate. Some of them are hard to adjust. Like these are really hard to adjust, and it's kind of annoying. But the biggest thing with these is something on them. This is actually like a soft touch finish. If you've ever used like Logitech mice, it's kind of like what they do to their mice, what Logitech does to their mice. Okay, anyway, these are the CoolerMaster MH751s. The 751s and 752s are the same. So it's like, it's a gaming headset, is what it's marketed as. But they're not a gaming headset. They're just a really, really fucking good pair of headphones. The bass on these is, I would say it's balanced. It does not feel recessed at all. It does not feel boosted at all. It feels very balanced. The mids on these feel tiny bit recessed, but it's not to the point to where I would even care to mention it really. I'm just kind of mentioning it because they're a little bit V-shaped in the sense that you don't have pronounced mids. The mids aren't boosted and pronounced. They're a little bit underneath of, like, they're not the star of the show. They're there. They're definitely there. I would say they're there more than those. But I think these have a little bit more mids, and these definitely have way more mids because they're kind of like, these are warm sounding headphones. But these are so comfortable. Oh my goodness, they sound absolutely amazing to wear. What did I just say? They feel amazing to wear. Goodness gracious. Like, am I okay? They feel amazing to wear. They actually are really good at noise isolation, and they're closed back. Now, this is where I talk about closed back versus open back. If you know closed back versus open back, this is different from what you will normally hear. If you don't know, go Google it really quick. Basically, actually, I'll explain it. Open back, closed back. You could see the driver, you can't see the driver. One, you could hear everything out the backside as if there's a speaker facing out. The other, you can't. That is the closed back, open back short version. Now, my experience is closed back have a very unique characteristic, and that is the only drawback I'm going to say for this one. And I'll talk a little bit more about some of the other things about it in just a second. But closed backs have one problem. If you run them through a headphone amp and turn them up really loud, you will start to hear what sounds like distortion. And I think what that is the sound bouncing off the back, coming back through the driver, and then phasing. I'm pretty sure it's phasing issues that you'll typically hear with the low end and the high end, mostly. Mids, a little bit as well, but the problem is you can't boost these too loud because then it gets really bad. So you kind of have to keep these at normal listening levels. If you want to go loud, go open back. Now, these are kind of a weird exception. I feel like I could push these really loud and I don't get that same issue. Maybe I'm crazy, but I do get the same issue on these. So it's like closed back, generally speaking, you can't drive it too hard with an amp, otherwise you'll start to hear like a weird kind of almost distortion sounding sort of thing happening. But yeah, these are marketed as a gaming headset. Ignore that. The 751s and the 752s, the only difference is one includes a USB DAC, which I don't think most of you guys are going to care about. You're either going to have an audio interface or some sort of dedicated amp, DAC, whatever. So get whichever one's cheaper. Now the thing about these is the price of these. I got these for $50 because I got them used, like new condition used. For $50, I would say everybody should own a pair of these. I think they normally are priced at $70, at which point I'd say you should probably own a pair of them. But if they were $100, I'd still buy. I buy these for $150. I'm just coming out and saying that right now. I bought them for $50. I would pay $150 for these. And part of the reason for that is CoolerMaster didn't make the MH751 and 752. They took the Takstar Pro 82s and changed them up a little bit. And those were good headphones that already existed, and CoolerMaster just did a few quirks to them. So they actually gave it a regular detachable cable that you could use with any cable. So I could just grab, hold on. This is the cable I use when I'm out and about. It's just like this nice little black cable with an inline remote. And I could just toss this in here. And it has there's a boom microphone you can put into here. I have no reason to put a boom microphone in here. I don't ever use a boom microphone. But you could. There's no included plug to cover this, which annoyed me a little bit because I would like for there to be. That'd be really cool if you could just cover that up, and then it looks like just a normal pair of headphones. And yeah, I would recommend these to anybody. Anybody that wants a pair of headphones right now, this is like, just get these. That's like kind of where I'm at with them. Now that's out of the headphones I've owned. There's a lot of other headphones out here or out there in the world. You could look up other options if you want to. These are the ones that I have tried, and I was just like, unless you need to run them loud, everybody should have a pair of these, because they don't go like really loud. Otherwise, they start to sound a little bit weird. Now the Sennheisers and the HDs, those are open back. You could drive them as loud as you want, and they won't sound like they're distorting. It's actually kind of crazy. But yeah, these, oh god, they're so good. They're so comfortable. I cannot express with words how comfortable these are. I got them for $50. Like I said, usually a little bit more expensive because I got them used. Used gear is not like something you'd be allergic to, people. Please, just get used gear. It's pretty good. Not always, but in a lot of cases you can get away with it. I have these slightly in the wrong... God, stupid cables. Okay, these are the KZ ZS6s. I also had the KZ ZS5s and the KZ ZS3s. ZS3s, bass, no treble, kind of recessed mids. So it's like the frequency response just goes like the stonks meme going down, except it usually goes up. But yeah, these are anyway. The ZS3s goes down. The KZ ZS5s has bass, and then it goes down in the mids, and then goes up again. These do the same thing, the KZ ZS6s, but they're less obnoxious about it. So KZ ZS3s I think are like really cheap. I don't remember. I think they're okay. If you want bass in your monitors, earbuds, whatever you want to call them, then you could get those. That's fine. I think that's an option. KZ ZS5s, once again, very harsh, a lot of bass. I would not particularly like to get them just because they're so harsh, but maybe if that's your thing. These I have, they're okay. I don't love them. The ear tips are garbage. I need to buy replacement ear tips. This one's coming off really easy, which is kind of disconcerting. But these are okay. I think I got them for like $38. $38, they're okay. Any more than that, there's probably better options. But they have a lot of bass. The treble's a little bit sharp, but it's clear enough. So it's not like super harsh, but it's a little bit sharp. And they have a lot of treble, so yeah, those are those. These are Insta-buy. So if you see these, you should Insta-buy them. These are the... It's like, well, every time I look at these, I'm like, whoever does not know about these headphones is laughing at me right now. They're like, come on. Okay, this is where he's joking. He's like, yeah, this is some cheap garbage headphones that he found at Goodwill. No, I bought these retail. And there's only one thing I don't like about them. Pretty much only one thing I don't like about them. pretty much three things. Okay, so the first thing not particularly fond of is the fact that they're on ear. That means that these smush your ears. Not great, but they're comfortable-ish, sort of. For short listening, they're fine. I'm not super fond of them. The adjustment mechanism is super weird because it's like super loose, but when you open them up, it then becomes a lot harder to adjust. So if you have it on your head, it's hard to adjust. It'll stay where you set it, but when it's like this, you know, you could just like, you could adjust it basically by shaking it. So yeah, but anyway, not super comfortable. But the silicone head strap, I actually really like this. It's a weird choice. I've never seen it before, but it's actually really comfortable. It's kind of bizarre. What do I not like about it? So I said I didn't like the comfort that much. Other thing I don't like is the fact that it has no detachable cable, but you can't really help that. This is a $30 pair of headphones. You could mod it to make them detachable. I don't think it's worth it because you'd have to get expensive cables that could attach to this, like the MMCX or something. I don't know. I wouldn't do. I wouldn't go through that for they're $30 headphones. But the only other thing I don't like about them is very marginal. Their sound signature could be slightly better if the highs were a little bit more boosted. So the highs were a little bit more up, just like EQ them up a little bit. Then they'd just be, I don't know. I wouldn't know what to do with myself. I'd probably just have a closet full of these, and then when I woke up in the morning, I'd go swimming in the closet full of KPH30i's, and then I would go back to sleep. That's probably what I'd do if these had slightly boosted treble. So it was just a little bit more pronounced. But these are relatively, okay, so this is where it gets into the rest of the sound stage. Okay, look. They sound really close. It's like comedic how close these sound. These have a little bit of mud, just a little bit more mud. So if you take an EQ on these and you boost the high end a little bit, and then around 200, 300-ish hertz, you do a little bit of a cut there, then they sound amazing. They don't sound like $30 headphones. They sound like, if this is a $150 pair of headphones, these sound like $200 headphones. I don't understand it. It makes no sense to me. They have a lot of bass. And if you wanted, you could boost the sub bass and actually get more sub bass out of them. It makes no sense. These don't... It's hard to review these because no one's going to take them seriously. Everyone's going to be like, Koss KPH30i is $30. Let me get the Sennheiser 58Xs. That's what everyone's going to fucking do. And it pisses me off because of how good these are. And even though I recommend, I'm like, these Insta-Buy for $50, if you don't have money because you're like in high school and you're like, yeah, you have no money, then these or the last pair of headphones I'm going to talk about in a second, which I'm going to get to another thing. Anyway, these are amazing. They go on sale for $20, which at that point is just like a crime. I'm not joking. I wish I were joking about like how good these are, but like if these went over my ear instead of on my ear, I wouldn't have had to buy these. Now the thing is, interesting thing, these are open back headphones. They're not. They're like semi-open back. They're pretty open back actually. So that means like if you wear these and you play music, then it's gonna leak out. So don't do anything suggestive of wearing these because people will find you out pretty fast. And also, your coworkers will know what music is. I would take these to work 100%, except for the fact that they're open back, so all the sound leaks out, and that sucks. Sucks because I wish I could have just used these as my daily drivers, because they're so portable, they're so light, they're not as comfortable as I wish they were, but they just sound amazing. Like if you EQ slightly, they get to the point to where they're better than almost every headphone on this table. Soundstage and imaging. These actually have better soundstage, I think, than definitely these, and maybe these. Imaging is kind of meh. Definitely better than that. Probably about on par with the 58Xs. KPH30i's. Why am I comparing a $30 headphone to a $150 headphone? I went backwards because there was a point to all of this. It's because these headphones are garbage and these headphones are amazing. And this is $200 and this is $30. Why would you spend $200 on these headphones when you could spend $30 on these headphones? Koss KPH30i. I could spend the next 20 minutes talking about this, and people would get mad because this video would be an hour long. They'd be like, your first video back, and it's an hour long. It's already 30 minutes. Okay, look, I already spent too long talking about these, so we're going to have to move on. I love these to bits, and I wish I could just buy, like, a room full of these, and then every time someone came over to visit, I could just give them one, and be like, you gave me one last week, and I'm going to take another, please. Please take another. Just, these are so good, these are so good. I can't talk more about those. Okay, these little buggers. When I bought these, and these were amazing. These are by Koss. Koss makes headphones. Warning, don't buy all of Koss's stuff. It's not good for your wallet. It's not good for your soul, and it's probably not going to be good for your ears. These are the Koss KSC75s. KSC75. That's what it is. These are $13. What do they sound like? They sound like $80 headphones. See, none of this price comparison stuff makes sense because I'm like saying $13 headphones sound like $80 headphones. Why is it that $80 headphones sound like $13 headphones? Like with the other direction. Like let's just say, okay, these ones they don't sound like $150. They sound like $80. These ones sound like $60. I don't fucking know, dude. The prices are all broken. I don't understand how they do it. But so these cute little things clip onto your ears. Now it's hard to get them comfortable, but when you get them on, you get them so they don't clip onto your ears. You get them so they rest on your ears, and they're so light that it's okay. It doesn't feel like it's pinching your ears. If it's pinching your ears, you adjusted it wrong. These are metal. Adjust it correctly, please. Spend the time. It takes hours. When you get it right, though, you'll never have to touch it again because it just slides on your ears and sits there. Sound signature. We'll start with that. These have reduced bass, to be clear. They don't have pronounced bass. You probably could like these are very warm. They have a lot of bass. These not warm, not a lot of bass. They have boosted highs that are a little bit harsh. So here's what I would do with these. If you take these and you'd have to look for it. I can't remember where it is, but there's a spot, I think it's around like 11K. If you do a small dip there to kind of get rid of some of the harshness, and then you boost the rest of the highs so that you get like the clarity, and then you boost the bass a little bit. For $13, you have done better than these headphones. Okay, except for the fact that these are just always going to have more bass. But yeah, so they're really good for $13. I'm not going to say that these are like these are insanely good. These are not insanely good. They're just very good for $13. I didn't really actually say who gives it. If you have $30, you buy those headphones. If you can't spend more than $30, you just buy these. Okay, that's my recommendation for those ones. These ones, if you have less than $20 and you need a pair of headphones, and you can't wait for those to go on sale for $20, these are just buy them because they're good. They're good, especially for if you do gaming, because the way that the high end is, like the mids are actually pretty solid. I would say there's a little bit of a bump in the mids, just a little bit. But these don't have great soundstage and imaging. They have decent soundstage, not great imaging out of the box. But if you EQ them just a little bit to bring down the harsh spot a little bit, and then boost up the rest of the higher parts of the highs so that it's clear, then they have good imaging. So if you are a FPS gamer and you're like, Mom, I need headphones because my headphones are terrible. I am using Red Dragon or Sadie's headphones, whatever the heck they're called. Ask your mom to buy you these. Most people on this channel are not gamers inherently, because this is a channel about music production. Would I mix on these? Hell no. I would never mix on these. I could mix on these. I think an argument could be made that you could mix on these you'd have to put an EQ on them to kind of shape them to what you expect first. It's like listen to a lot of music, get an EQ for them so that it sounds like what you want it to sound like, because they're very EQable. Some headphones are not super flexible with EQ. These ones are. These ones are pretty flexible too, but can't mix on these. Sorry for hitting stuff. You can't mix on these, but they're pretty good for the price. Like worth $50, $60. I don't know. It's like I don't go crazy over these, but this is the last thing I want to talk about. The way these go on your ears, they inherently end up angled because your ears kind of going like that. These are also angled. These are also angled. These are also angled because of the way you put them on your ears. What I have learned, these, I don't think they end up angled. I can't see in for sure. I wonder if I could remove the foam on these and make them sound have more treble. I probably could. I should try that. Anyway, these are angled. Headphones that have an angled driver are going to give you better soundstage and imaging. That is my personal experience. I have no proof. I have no science. That is my experience. So try to see if you can, when looking for a headphone, if you want soundstage and imaging, find out if you could get some sort of headphone that the driver is angled so that it points towards your ears, not towards your head. Because funnily enough, your ears are actually shaped so that you pick up sound in front of you better than you do on the sides of you. Goodness knows how that happened. But yeah, these are pretty good. If you don't have a lot of money, they're good. So, these are all the headphones of relevance that I've done. I've Apple not AirPods. I haven't used AirPods. EarPods I've used, like the original ones. Amazon Premium Buds. This Xiaomi pair of earbuds. Earbuds that I have are not great. I just use them because I don't like IEMs that plug my ears. Maybe it's because I've always had ones with silicone ear tips. Maybe I should just get ones with like foam ear tips or something. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, these are the headphones that I've owned. Those are my thoughts on them. And I tried to give a recommendation for everybody. Like, I think my biggest thing for this is like, if you can't afford these but want something like that, these. Closest you're going to get, and you could EQ them to sound right. These, out of box, no need to EQ them. You could if you wanted to. You can boost the bass on these as well. That's one of the things that a lot of people don't consider with like headphone reviews. You get a headphone for the initial sound signature, and then you tweak it to your liking. If you're listening to music. If you're producing, maybe you choose not to do that. I could argue that if you tend to lean towards a certain type of sound, like you always like to have bright treble, then maybe make it so your headphones are EQ'd so that they're bright treble out of the box and you don't over boost the treble, right? Because then when you mix, you end up with like, ooh, that sounds bright. Let me turn it down a little bit. And that's already at the boosted sound of your headphones, so you're no longer pushing it to be where you like it, if you get what I mean. So neutral isn't always the best, depending on how you mix. So, yeah. Overall, my recommendations are, like, not fond of that one, not fond of this one, not fond of these. Don't get me wrong; these other ones have a place and a purpose. And then I would argue that if you can spend more than these, please spend more than these. But if you only have $15, then these are an option. But I'm just going to take them out just in case because they're good, but there's better options. But I would still recommend this to people if they only have that much money. Or if they're a gamer, FPS, they don't want to try to EQ these, and they want something out of box that is good for FPS stuff. But generally, I wouldn't be super keen on those. These, I personally love. So I'm putting them here because I love those. You don't have to. I just hit the microphone. I forgot that microphone's the microphone recording. I love those. Nobody else in the world has to. I like them. That's something that I understand will happen. These are really good. They're expensive-ish. Not like actual expensive. Headphones get way more expensive than this. These are amazing. So open back, close back. open back with some quirks because, you know, they're not super comfortable and you have to like deal with the fact that they're on ear. But still worth it for the price. These are my top threes out of everything that I've covered here. And all three of these, I recommend it without any hesitation for particular purposes. Like, I want closed back headphones. Please just buy these. These are the best closed back headphones I have ever owned, period. Gaming headset. Who cares? They're not a gaming headset, they're headphones. These, I don't have a lot of money. I want a really good set of headphones, or I need something extremely portable, and I don't care if it's open back. Those. Just buy those. Everyone should own a pair of these, regardless. But if you could only own one pair of headphones, maybe it's not these. But you should own these anyway. Those headphones. And then these, I have $150, and I want a good pair of headphones that'll just last, and I can love, and I can sleep. You don't want to sleep with these; they're too big. Yeah, these are good. So that's my thoughts. 45-minute video? Not really. I mean, it's less than 45 minutes, but I've always been meaning to do this, and I don't know. Some people like rambly video. I'm not going to edit this. There's nothing for me to cut out, really. Pretty much just unfiltered thoughts on headphones. This has been my headphone experience. Now, amps and DACs, I could talk about in a different video, maybe. We'll see. I don't know if people care about that. But I wanted to talk about headphones because I know a lot of people end up having to use headphones. In some way, shape, or form, you just can't use studio monitors, so you got to use headphones. Which ones do you pick? And Koss KPH30i, CoolerMaster MH751s, and Sennheiser HD58X. Those are my top three recommendations. The other ones have their time and places, but these ones have more times and places than most. And I just love these ones, and you can't take them away from me. But most people are probably going to prefer other headphones. So, but that's just because I really like clear treble. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you like this, I guess let me know. The like button doesn't really do much other than popularity, but I'm not really looking for popularity. I'm just kind of sharing my thoughts. If you like this, let me know. Let me know what other things you'd like me to talk about. I could talk about this. If you look on Amazon, you could see the price of it, and then maybe you'll be interested in my thoughts on this. But yeah. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. I have a weak intro. I have a weak outro. It's not an intro. Oh, it's been too long. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys next time.